What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some Go Battle League battles here in the Love Cup, and today I'm showcasing a team of 3 here that I've seen been floating around, but sometimes in a different order. This team actually is going to feature Ariados in the lead, and Ariados is by far one of the best core breakers to any teams that have counter users like Scrafty and Metacham, as well as Charmers. Ariados has really solid play against those types of team comps. Electrode on the safe swap here, and I am running foul play and discharge as my charge moves here. Just allows Electrode to be a little bit more consistent in a lot of its matchups, but really powerful on the safe swap. Electrode really doesn't get hard punished by hardly anything in this Love Cup meta. And then Alomomola in the back, we're just going to refer to it as the fish in this video, and very bulky and provides really solid coverage for a lot of Ariados' weaknesses to rock and fire. And throughout this video, I believe I actually encountered a lot of people that were running very similar team comps as well. So you'll see a couple of different mirror match situations play out in this video. Let me know down in the comments what team you've been enjoying running in Love Cup, or maybe you've been playing Open Master League or Master Premier. So I'm going to let this move go through, and they are in fact running foul play as well. Going to farm up and then throw my foul play here. The IVs on all 3 of these Pokemon for me are pretty bad. I didn't include them in this video, but in all of these mirror matches, I just always assume that I'm going to win the CMP tie because these Pokemon are not super optimized for the PvP IV spread. Another potential alternative that you could run with this team is Slowbro in the back. That's kind of another water type that is able to cover Ariados' weaknesses again, but you'll get more of that psychic type damage with Confusion. So kind of just a different flavor of team comp there. My opponent actually has a Seeking in the back. Seeking is a really interesting choice in this Love Cup. It's just, it's a little bit glassier than you expect, but the moveset is really cool of Poison Sting, Drill Run, and Icy Wind. One thing about this team is that both Ariados and Electrode are fairly glassy, and so that's why the third Pokemon that you choose on this team needs to have a good amount of bulk, and the fish definitely has a lot of bulk, able to take a lot of charge moves. So in the mirror match, because I'm able to win CMP, that guarantees that I'm able to get my lunge debuff off first, and my opponent ends up switching out, so this allows me to line up my fish against this Crustle here. But sometimes you'll see this in some later battles where if I end up staying in that lead matchup for too long, and there ends up being a Metacham in the back, it really becomes difficult if all shields are in play. So there will be moments sometimes that I will end up swapping out of that lead matchup and store a move in hopes of baiting out a Metacham and trying to get some shields rolling. So their Ariados is very low. I'm just going to bring in my Ariados here to soak up this damage. And there is in fact a Metacham in the back, but thank goodness I still have my Ariados fairly healthy here. Gonna throw a lunge, and even though I'm debuffed, I need to kind of stay in and continue chipping away at this Metacham. They cannot farm me down. They're gonna have to throw energy, and at this point, because they've let all of this damage go through, I know that Electrode is gonna be my win condition here. They are double debuffed and they're still stuck in this matchup. They're just going straight for Power Up Punch to try to run out the clock, so I no shield that. And this felt like another power-up punch, so I'm just going to no-shield this as well and fast move everything down. They transferred the Volt Switch damage onto their Ariados, and we're able to take that game there. Good game. Very favorable lead for me here. However, Metacham can opt to stay in that matchup and either bait with Power-Up Punch or just go straight for the Psychic, because it wins in the zero shield scenario, which is absolutely crazy. I'm able to counter swap my Electrode into that Slowbro very quickly and not allow it to get to a move. They bring in the Metacham once again, and this is where we're kind of in a sketchy scenario here, because we're going to get farmed all the way down from the Metacham. They're going to have a lot of energy, and Psychic pretty much one-shots Ariados because of how glassy it is. So I'm going to bring in Ariados, have to shield this up, and really nice bait for my opponent. At this point, I felt like there's no way they were going to bait me here, so I'm going to double shield and continuously load up on energy. They have a slow king in the back. Holy cow. I really want to be able to get off 2 lunges onto this slow king. So I'm going to throw another lunge. They're running Medicham and then Slowbro and Slow King. Pretty cool team. They let that go through, and I'm going to catch a move onto my fish here. Ideally, I want to be able to farm down this Slow King and then have energy for the Medicham. Because they're double debuffed, this damage is really not that threatening. I know that I can tank another Psychic, and this energy is going to be really valuable against the Medicham. They swap the Medicham there, going to go straight for this Psychic. It's definitely going to get shielded, but potentially we get the defense drop. No, we do not. They're trying to farm me down, but the fish is too bulky, able to get to this Psychic here, and then I just need to swap very quickly and get to this Cross Poison, not allow the Slow King to farm me down there, and we're able to take that game. Double confusion users in the back, my opponent had there. Okay, Medicham lead once again favorable, but a little bit scary. And my opponent is opting to stay in here. And this is where, honestly, if you're the Medicham and you successfully double bait with Power Up Punch, you can potentially win this matchup, which is crazy. But my opponent threw at 7 counters, and I knew it took 8 counters to get to Psychic, so that's why I no-shielded that. They do end up shielding the lunge. Ariados very clearly wins CMP against Medicham in this matchup. We shield up the Psychic, big shield, and then they switch in a Magcar Go. The fish is a very solid response to this. It is a Rock Throw Magcar Go, though, so it is hitting for neutral damage here, and they're rocking Stone Edge. So actually able to do a good amount of damage to the fish, but I'm able to farm that all the way down. Out comes Electrode. I know I'm only going to get to 1 move, so I'm going straight for the Hydro Pump. And the Hydro Pump lands. At this point, it is absolutely good game. I can safely bring in my Electrode. Most likely caught a Discharge here. My opponent blind through. And at this point, it's definitely game over. Good game there. Talonflame lead. Not good at all, but we do have 2 responses to it. So I'm going to throw 1 Poison Sting and then swap and transfer that damage onto my Electrode and try to get some of the free energy onto my Ariados. They end up staying in long enough for me to throw a Discharge. So this allows me to burn a shield and stall out the Switch Clock. So now our Switch Clock is pretty desynced. They're still staying in here though. Now they end up switching into their Ariados. Gonna throw a Discharge here. I know their Talonflame has energy stored, which is gonna be kind of difficult for me in the end game. So they go for Cross Poison, and they get the boost. This is so unfortunate, because I'm going to bring in my Ariados here, but look at how much damage these charge moves are going to do now because of that boost. They go for a lunge here. Holy cow, that is not good at all. I need to throw this lunge to get rid of this spider, and then I know that the Talonflame has loaded energy, so I need to get out of here. I do. They end up having a Medicham in the back. This is another case to be made where if I had Slowbro, I'd be in a better spot here. But I'm going to shield up the Psychic. It was the big move, and I'm going straight for the Psychic as well. And that gets shielded up as well. I still have that Talonflame I have to deal with, though. I need to have a Cross Poison stored for that Talonflame, and even then, I don't know if that's going to be enough damage to take it out. They land the Psychic. I'm able to get to this Psychic here, but then the Talonflame is going to be able to farm me down. So I swap my Ariados. And their Talonflame, unfortunately, had the move here, and I didn't click the Cross Poison. So we unfortunately lose that game. The Talonflame lead, kind of tough there. Good game to my opponent. Okay, opposing Ariados swap-ins. Very awkward to deal with as well. They led Scrafty, which is obviously very favorable for me. Also, they have a shiny Ariados. Looks really, really cool. What I'm trying to do here is land some damage, absorb some damage, and eventually swap into my fish here. And what I ideally want to be able to do is farm this all the way down and not shield, and then have energy to dump on the Scrafty. Because very similar to Metacham, I know that Scrafty is just going to come in here, farm me all the way down, and then when it has energy banked, the foul play is pretty threatening to Ariados still. And I'm able to farm this all the way down without shielding, so that play worked out very well. I'm able to go for this Hydro Pump and provide just a little bit of farm for the Scrafty. But man, after being debuffed that many times, that Hydro Pump did nothing. Gonna bring out my Ariados, and because I have the lunge stored, I do win CMP in this matchup. I throw it immediately, and they're gonna throw here. They are single debuffed, so I'm gonna let this go through. What do they end up having in the back? It is Galarian Slowbro, so gonna go for this lunge, get this debuff off, and then my Electrode should be able to hang with this. This is another reason why foul play is so great. You're gonna be able to hit for super effective damage here, whereas Discharge and Hyper Beam would both only hit for neutral. So foul play really coming in clutch to hit super effective against the Psychic typing there. And we're able to get to this move, and this is looking pretty good for us because Electrode most likely going to be able to get to another move against the Scrafty. And all I need to do is shield this, and the Volt Switch damage will register and KO the Scrafty there. Good game. Crustle in the lead, really bad. So I need to go into Electrode, and it's met by a Wigglytuff. Man, whenever Electrode is met by a Charmer, there's no way that you're going to win switch advantage here. I'm throwing at 5-volt switches to try to bluff Hyper Beam. I'm able to get to another Discharge here, which will do some decent chip damage and allow me to farm down the Wigglytuff with my Ariados here. However, this Ice Beam is going to hit for a lot of damage. So they do get to a move. And at this point, I don't know if I should shield this or not. I end up shielding this, but I know that I'm going to be stuck against the Crustle anyways. Gonna bring in the Alomomola, and it's a Shadow Vileplume in the back. Oh my gosh, this team like perfectly countered my lineup here, but at least I'm able to get to this Psychic. They let it go through, which is actually a really smart play on their part. But now I need to be able to land like 2 lunges on this Crustle to take it out, and the smackdown damage is just doing way too much. Gonna need a lunge and then probably a cross poison to be able to KO, and unfortunately the Crustle just has too much energy because they can just go for X Scissor here. I do call the X Scissor bait, and I survived one more smackdown, but they had enough energy for 2 moves anyways. Good game to my opponent, not able to overcome that tough team comp there. Okay, Alomomola in the lead. This is another one of those like kind of bulky neutral matchups where if you want to win it, you need to shield the first move. But I actually end up trying to catch a move on my own fish there, and I'm unfortunately met by an Electrode in the back. And I know that their fish still has a lot of loaded energy, so that's something I'm going to have to deal with. They sneak a Volt Switch through while I'm throwing my Psychic, really not good, and they shield. Really not good, because this damage is gonna hurt my Ariados as well. I end up coming in with my own Electrode to absorb this damage, hoping that they blind through, and they did. It's just a Discharge. Now, I want to farm up as much as possible here. I know that my Electrode will win CMP against the Alomomola. So I actually, I kind of over-farmed energy there, unfortunately. That was a wasted Volt Switch. I should have thrown that earlier. But down goes the Electrode, and out comes Ariados, actually. So I'm going to land this Discharge and then swap into my own Ariados. And they go for a nice little combo play with their Alomomola. Have to shield up the Psychic. And that was actually desync CMP, because there's no way that my Ariados loses CMP there. I'm farming up as much as I possibly can, and then I'm going to go for this Cross Poison. Whenever you can get your opponent into a situation where they only have 1 Pokemon remaining, and you have a debuff move, that's really, really powerful, because they cannot clear their debuff. They end up shielding the lunge, which again kind of provides me with a win condition, because now all I need to do is get to a Discharge to take that out. And because of the lunge debuff, I'm going to be able to survive whatever this is. And then I just need to get to the Discharge. Really, really close game. Barely hanging on for dear life at the end there, Electrode, but able to get to the Discharge and take out that Spider. Good game. Another Alomomola in the lead. I played this pretty weird last time, and my thought process was ideally I have Electrode in the back, which is a better response to the fish. So that's why I swapped out. I might do the same play here. Yeah. And this time I do end up catching a move, which is good. That's what I wanted to have happen in the first game. Another Vileplume. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to throw the Psychic here. And my opponent lets it go through and I win switch advantage. I was extremely surprised by this. Now I'm able to guarantee that my Electrode is going to get onto this fish. And at this point, my opponent concedes the game. They did not expect the Psychic to do that much damage to their Vileplume. Ariados mirror match once again. If I win CMP here, then I feel pretty confident about this matchup. But again, you can't really... I mean, you can if you want. You can stay in this the whole time and win the lead. But if there's a Medicham in the back, you're going to be so low of health by the end of this, and they're going to get some farm, that if they still have 2 shields up, double shielded Medicham can just pup its way through the entire back line, which is insane. So gonna let that lunge go through. I might store up a bunch of energy and get out of here. We'll have to see what I do in this matchup here. So gonna let all this damage go through, possibly bank a move, and then swap, try to farm down. So I'm gonna throw the Cross Poison here and take out their Ariados. Yeah, I think this is the matchup that showcases where we have a problem in the back. Now, this is a mistake here. What I should have done, the second that the Alomomola came out, I should have swapped into my own Alomomola and saved that energy. Because there it is, folks. There's the double shielded Medicham in the back, and I am not going to be able to handle this despite having an Electrode and an Alomomola. I'm going to no shield this first move. They end up going for Power Up Punch, but my opponent is committing to just Power Up Punching through my entire backline with 2 shields. I now have to start shielding Power Up Punches, and I am just getting outpaced. I am completely getting outpaced to these charge moves. I cannot keep up, and they still have a very healthy Alomomola to take care of. So cool team comp by my opponent. Similar lead, right? Ariados in the lead, but they ended up having Alomomola, which pairs really well, and then a Medicham in the back to protect against those rock types. But you can see my opponent's Medicham is just going to town here. Totally destroys my backline. Good game. I think this is the final battle in the video. Scrafty, and then again, my opponent's going to switch in their own Ariados. The way that I have to handle this is land a lunge, tank a lunge, and then make a move into my fish to farm this all the way down. Because once again, I don't want to give the Scrafty a bunch of farm, because then foul play is really going to be threatening to the Ariados. And so this is a pretty consistent way to play the secondary matchup here. Perfect. They get to another move. Even less farm for the Scrafty. And I'm just going to go straight for the Hydro Pump here. Psychic is single resisted because of that dark typing. Does a bigger chunk than last time because I think they only landed 2 lunges on me in that particular matchup. But going to bring out the Ariados. I unfortunately don't have a move banked at this point, so have to shield up the foul play. In the back is Alomomola, and we're looking pretty good here because Electrode is going to be able to finish this off. I throw a lunge hoping that I would get a shield there. And I'm still staying in. I'm going to bank a move knowing that I win CMP in the back end and then swap out. But we're looking pretty good here. Even though we're down a shield, that debuffed Psychic is not that threatening. I'm farming up as much as I possibly can. I'm anticipating that they're going to save both of their shields for their Scrafty. I'm able to get to a discharge here. Once again, I'm going to be farmed all the way down though. So thank goodness I do have some energy stored on my Ariados. All I need to do is get to 2 cross poisons here. So here's the first one. And then it's going to be very close. I'm 1 poison sting away from this cross poison. I do end up getting baited, but we're able to get to this move and take that game. Thank you all so much for watching. Best of luck with your battles. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll see you all in the next video.